want. JJ, take a flash, take a flash.
Rise. Pentakill. Nice! Go Nash. Woo! Pentakill! Good job, guys. Really good job.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, everyone, for Game 3 of our semifinal matchup. 1-1 is the score. It's been an excellent series so far, so let's break down what's happened. Game 2, Impact was insane.
Just this guy deserves all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
The fact that he's getting camped by basically the undisputably best jungler, top laner, these are supposed to be the best 2v2 pairing in the game, and he's getting 2v1'd over and over, getting flashed on cooldown by both these guys. Just no help from his team whatsoever. Not only does he end up staying even, contributing in team fights, he wins a 1v1 against Pobelter in the bot lane that helped to decide the game. This guy was everywhere.
Yeah, he did the most damage in the game, and he had the most gold in the game, and he got camped to all hell. Like, seriously, this guy should have been out of the game at the get-go, but he played the dive so well, was getting counter kills, and really just brilliant play here from Impact. And the rest of Cloud9 playing around him was rather good too.
The build adaptations were also extremely smart. I think that going for that Jorum's Fist early, getting the early Ninja Tabbies, these are adaptations that he had to make to survive this matchup and survive this camp that he knew was coming.
Incredibly intelligent player. All props the world to Impact, and it leads into a great soundbite because C9 are, going, of course, trying to take down Immortals in this series, and Sneaky believes they can do it by beating Huni.
I think sometimes their bot lane's pretty aggressive. I wouldn't call them a weak spot. I would say, if anything, Huni would be the weak spot, because there's a lot of times where he's playing like oddball picks that just are abusable. So he would leave openings, I'd say, more so than their bot lane. I think the bot lane is solid enough to not get super disadvantaged, for sure.
And even with all that attention that he got on his Riven, he was 3-1-3, ended the game 3-5-3, and they stopped him from getting into team fights.
Yeah, and I mean, the all about picks, the Riven didn't work out, but Rumble, not the most popular top laner right now, and he hard carried that game.
Right.
So sometimes it's a bit hit or miss, and Huni can sometimes get a lot of flack for picking, Lucian top, Riven, blah, 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 but he makes a lot of these picks work, and I think that's one of the things that's threatening about him is you can never ban him out, and you never know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it just hectic coming around, but the C9 game plan certainly did work over in Game 2. They found the team fights, they found the pickoffs, they stopped the flanks occasionally, and either way, though, that game was neck and neck. Either team could have won that one. There was a catastrophically bad end game call by Immortals where they were like, all right, Huni, go try to take the base through an inhibitor and double turrets, and obviously much slower than a 5v4 against one Nexus turret.
Thought the structures were a lot flimsier than they actually were.
Yeah, nope.
Really big gamble there.
It definitely was. Didn't pay off, but we are into Champ Select for game number 3 here, and it's going to be a big one, putting one of these two teams at match point.
And Immortals actually banning away the Talia that they first picked over in Game 1, so they've clearly got something else planned for themselves. As Vladimir, Rumble, Karma all banned off, and
Bard left
around.
open.
Bard's the one that they left open.
It's also Immortals banning the Karma that was banned by C9 the other 2 games this series, so they're doing some really odd pinches where they're banning what C9 was banning, they're banning what they first picked. I know the Gangplank is up, and that might be the first pick,
exactly.
But it's a big change.
Yeah, I think the Gangplank first pick may be what comes through here because they've been having such a hard time with dealing with it, but Impact would pick Gnar into that.
That Pantheon hover, I like it.
Shout out to the quarterfinals for Ninja.
I think it's getting locked in. There's no doubt in my mind at all. Just kidding, it was a prank, it's Rek'Sai.
So it is the Gangplank ban there, and I think that's the adaptation that they were looking for. So really smart by C9 in their draft to make that change, and they may be comfortable to just lock in the Gnar here. Gnar definitely strong in a lot of the matchups, and they do also have the ability to kind of wait it out, see if they want to pick something like a Shen. I feel that Shen, if you go that way, though, is much more abusable in lane. There are certain picks that can be very difficult for you to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be a little bit more concerned. Gnar, roughly the safest blind pick top laner in League of Legends right now.
So.
And if you're going to do it at all, you can just go for that one here, and C9 can save their mid laner for last with the high priority first pickable mid laners like Talia and Vladimir off the table. You tend to just kind of play counters for the rest of it. C9 actually trying to maybe take away the Trundle that Adrian was playing. That's going to be the call.
Really interesting choices, and I'm curious to see if Immortals is going to want to try to take Syndra away, perhaps, from Jensen, because he was very strong on it last game. He had success on it in the quarterfinals, too, here.
It's a good blind pick, too.
Yeah.
People are still trying to figure out what to play into it. how to abuse it. And
Oh,
yeah, baby, let's go.
Kennen is back in action. We did see a win come through for Team Envy and Sarah specifically in this matchup, and now it's Immortals playing the same one with very similar champions actually to that composition.
So Kennen into Gnar, you just trade back and forth with auto attacks, and I want to see what Huni ends up doing. I assume it's for him in this in terms of maxing Q, kind of skill shot dependent, but the W gives you more wave clear, gives you more trading potential with auto attacks. And this is more team fight for Immortals if they go with this pick here and put it into the top lane.
If you don't let me play Rumble, I'll play another mana-less top laner who presses R and wins the team fight. And so the counter pick, I think these are very smart choices. You've got Gragas to try to disengage these champions, Sivir to try to run them away, even though Ashe was already picked up, and that's part of the composition. It's a different look here. And to synergize, it's more AoE team fighting on both fronts here, offensively and defensively. Victor plus the Taric, I think, great choices.
Taric into melee support, so strong. I also think the synergy with the Kennen is so big. You can flash forward as the Taric ultimate is dropping. It's so hard to actually turn and focus on this Kennen. It allows him to build more aggressively as well. You don't need to have the Zhonya's as early. You can go things like the Proto Belt into these even more aggressive builds, and it's going to be frightening if they can pull this combo off properly.
Like seriously, Proto Belt into Rylai's is probably the build here for him to slow down the entire team and allow Victor to keep just wailing away on people.
That AoE combo is massive, and it's going to be up a lot to C9 to kind of absorb that damage. And will it be? What will
There's a lot of styles, right? You can have someone sit in the front line and say, yes, I'm just going to Zillion ult a Gragas and he'll phase tank all of this, make sure it all goes well. That is the play they're going for, actually, a more defensive style of mid laner to withstand a lot of the pressure. Maybe you have some CC layering later on, but it's a utility-focused pick.
It puts a lot of the onus on Sneaky here as well to be able to carry in these team fights. As far as pumping out that damage, Zillion is not exactly the guy who's going to solo carry team fights. Yes, you can have these big double stuns with the bombs, but it's much more utility-oriented. It's much more about speeding up your team, getting the Gragas and the Gnar forward, and landing those critical ultimates to counteract Huni's ultimate and Pobelter's ultimate. So positioning for Jensen will be so key.
Yeah, Meteos also with the explosive cast. If he can knock Huni away from the fight and get the disengage before it begins, Kennen without the ultimate, team fight potential goes way down.
All right, so it's about the execution once again, just like we had seen before in Syndra versus LeBlanc. It was, hey, can you knock her out? Can you make sure you prevent the W? We saw these things happen. Now it's, can you get the Kennen away? Or can you flash beyond the Gragas barrel and let you knock him into the team and make it even worse for the rest of your squad? And the way you play, the mechanics of how these champions interact going to be very important here.
Exactly, and even the Taric, right? As soon as you see the Cosmic Radiance start, Gragas barrel them away, try to reset the fight.
I also think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how effective Turtle is on the Ashe, because it's something where we've seen a lot of mid laners get picked on if they don't take cleanse. And this has been a theme throughout LCS, throughout other leagues as well. You get the Ashe, you get level 6, you go mid lane, you try to hit an arrow. If they land an arrow on Jensen with no cleanse on the table, he's likely going to get popped.
Yeah.
Right. Even if he self-revives, he's going to wake up on top of a gravity well and just die again anyway.
Yeah.
So a lot of tools here for Immortals.
But if Jensen has the presence of mind to speed himself up, which you typically don't use during the laning phase too much, then he'll be able to actually dodge it if he's trusting in himself to do so.
We'll see if it happens. We are here into game 3 of this best of 5. Leading in a match point on the line here for this one. Immortals, the favorite, but Cloud9 has certainly looked very good so far today, and they could absolutely take the lead in this series.
And we've been hearing through the grapevine from teams like CLG where it's like, Cloud9 look really good right now, right? Scrimming across the bracket, and hey, they've been doing even better than some of their other scrim opponents like Immortals, and they're like, okay, well, I think Cloud9 might be able to take it, which is very surprising before the matchup happens because you think it's heavily favored in Immortals due to the record they had during the regular split and never dropping a match against Cloud9.
These teams met way back in week 5 was the last time, and it was a 2-0 victory for Immortals, and game 2 of that was a stomp, if you remember that one properly. So certainly a much closer series so far than we have seen in the past between these two squads. This is what happens when playoff comes around. You take your time, you prepare for your opponents, you have a week to focus on one best of 5, in some cases 3 weeks to focus on one best of 5, and you come in swinging, hoping to take down your opponents properly.
Fact of the matter is, sometimes being the team with a bye can just build that pressure. It can make you get a little bit nervous, and C9 looking to catch Immortals unawares.
Well, C9 lurking around on the tri-brush. They see Adrian, and they actually look for Wild Turtle. Stun's going to miss from Adrian, actually. Aims it incorrectly, and a lot of damage dealt. Yeah, C9 waiting in the tri-brush, and that's the mind game. That's the meta game situations where you're like, hey, we think they're going to invade on us, so we'll wait in the brush and wait for it. But a nice volley hits two. Immortals have the first push.
Even with that jump from C9, it actually went pretty evenly, if not a little bit in the way of C9, but a nice trade there onto Immortals.
Yeah, especially since you have the Trundle and he just regens passively. Most of the damage was dealt to him. But Adrian, these stuns have not been on point. The 2 Jazzles so far. There we go. All right, makes up for it.
Double hit right there. Gets the collat.
Cast for
Nicely
curse.
done.
Yeah.
And this game's so much less action than the first ones.
Ah, yeah, let's go.
There comes the shield, and ready to keep on going with this one.
Meteos actually going to the blue buff, but this was warded by Reignover. So Rek'Sais typically don't do their blue buff until later and hand it off to their mid laner, but Meteos knows this, but it's already warded.
Yeah, and Reignover's already pinging out his opponent's blue buff, so he's just going to simply make it a trade. One thing this does do, though, is it's probably going to be the blue buff going over to Reignover instead of Pobelter. So Meteos knows even if it's a trade, at least they're getting it off of the Victor and onto the Rek'Sai where it's less effective.
Yeah, so really, really nice stuff right there. Removing the choices that Immortals would have had with this one. Overall, good play. Storm Raider surge for the cannon. That is quite interesting. So he's really going to be able to run around with the ulti once he starts it off and gets a bit of damage on the back line.
Yeah, and you don't get to slow him either because the Zilean would ideally want to be able to slow him, but the effectiveness will go down drastically. He just has to get in there for the initial burst and actually tag somebody first. It's an interesting choice.
As Reignover smites away on the wolf camp, gets the spirit to make sure this counter jungling is safe, leaves up a small wolf and goes to take away the Grand Pierre. And Reignover doing a very good job of playing the counter jungle game. That ward on Meteos let him know that Eastern jungle was all his. And right now, he played.
And that's so much of what jungling at the pro level is it's mind games, it's anticipation, it's working with imperfect knowledge. You don't have all the information, but you take what you can get, you anticipate what your opponent will do, and you try to one-up him.
So far, the one-upping has happened in Reignover's favor. Level 4-3 means more camps taken by the Immortals jungler on this Rek'Sai. Right now, gold nearly identical. That's more the laner's fault right there. Impact winning very early in the laning phase. And that'll be okay for now. From what I remember from casting the top lane stream with Dyrus and Zig, they had said the very early levels were actually more Kennen favored, and then eventually Gnar became a bit invincible. But so far, not the case. Impact off to a great start.
I also think the Storm Raider surge doesn't really help him out too much. Thunderlords on Kennen is really good because the W when it's empowered actually counts as 2. So all you have to do is throw your empowered W and then actually trigger it with your W.
If Huni gets too low here, they could look to go for the dive. Mega is unkillable.
Impact at half health, level 5 right here. Huni trades back though, and Reignover
Call it off.
tries to find out what's happening. Yep, they call it off. Good call there. Nothing really to be done yet. And we wait for the next major advantage.
Yeah, it's the Wolf Spirit that was smited by Meteos, pinged that Reignover was coming up. So Meteos gets out, and it's a good idea to actually go after the Kennen early because of his lack of wave clear. Proto Belt does cover that weakness, but you have to wait for that item to come through, and then it's a little bit better for you.
So for now, everyone stays safe. The smallest of margins right now put Cloud9 ahead in gold, but that won't mean terribly much for too really long here.
You can see Impact very happy to build quite defensively here, working towards a quick cowl. Doesn't feel like he has to carry, knows that he's going to have pressure from the other team, and it's his job more to absorb that pressure and stay even. And I think this is really smart. The game is not going to be about the Gnar.
No, it might be about his team fighting later on right here and how much he can do against Huni and co, but so far it's okay to play with a bit of a safer laning phase. Quick catalyst comes through for Jensen as he teleports back into lane. Pobelter does not have that luxury, and so now I think it's kind of on Jensen to keep shoving in that Victor and make him take a bad recall whenever he does go back in.
Yeah,
6
probably
minutes so far, no new items yet.
call over Reignover when he wants to actually back. He's sitting on about 1,300 gold now on Pobelter. And,
Stun's gonna land, sneaky low on health, but goes back on a wild turtle, plenty of damage dealt there, and an exhaust traded back and forth. 2 grasp triggers actually for Smoothie means a lot of damage. Wild turtle low on health, but he had a potion left over. He's healing back up now.
he does have the Taric as well, which will continue to heal him. Give him a little bit more HP over time.
One of the things about Taric that's so nice in these melee matchups is also that you can get your passives off. Every time you hit your passive, it starts to charge up your heal, it reduces your cooldowns, so you can get those 3 charge heals, which means you're so much more effective, and that's why Taric is almost always picked reactively into melee supports.
Yeah. Have to wait for that support pick to come out instead of picking him first. Sometimes you pick him when you have a composition that it's like a Hecarim or something, but regardless, how he operates here with the Kennen.
The scrap to the top side. Impact tossing the clock tower. Bam! Lands a stun. Nice little bit of damage. Burns his ulti for that one, but that means his teleport will be much less useful in the future.
Well, this is really quite ambitious.
The flash chase comes through. The flash to escape, and Impact.
He can turn this around. Hooney's
Some of
low.
this damage on a Huni. Turret shot is in, but the stun comes back in, and that will be the retreat for Kennen.
But he's losing CS during that time, and he's losing pressure, and now he has no HP, and he has to back. Like, Huni gave up so much for that, and that was really greedy, because Impact, again, absorbing pressure.
Yeah, builds defensive, knows it's coming, has the wards. Really good stuff from him. And in the bot lane, it's trading once again. C9 just brawling it out. And look at Jensen actually making a roam down here. Does decide to pull back.
There's a ward and try. He'll get spotted right now. Immortals knows about this. And they will run back to the left-hand side. The haste, he wants to go for the double bomb on a turtle. A pillar to set it up. And it does require the turtle flashes away. Good setup by Smoothie. The pillar forces the summoner spell out. And though it will be some time lost and a wave lost by Jensen, it is now a 4-minute cooldown gone for Wild Turtle.
Yeah, no TP as well for Huni. His flash is down, so that's a lot of playmaking ability gone for this Kennen. Impact has not yet had to use his TP, so he is keeping that available. He's playing for the team as always. We'll see if he decides to blow it to go back to lane, but that has not really been something that is typical of his play.
And to take it back, actually, Wild Turtle back on a 5-minute cooldown for his flash. So once you stop playing Jhin, switched up the mastery page. For those who want to know about it.
Smoothie is staying to interrupt recalls, because Wild Turtle hasn't backed yet. If he interrupts this recall...
I don't think he sees him. I think he's just out of vision. Oh, no, he sees him. Boop, boop.
That's actually worth a lot, because now the Sivir gets to come back with BF Sword, Longsword, Boots, and shove the wave up before Wild Turtle even gets to around his tier 1 turret.
18 seconds delayed as the recall starts right now. That's how long that Wild Turtle will be missing from this lane. So if this wave gets killed off, it's a complete denial now thanks to staying and making that pillar come in. That doesn't mean Smoothie misses his own recall.
They're going to actually look to try to turn this into a dragon, and I think this is pretty nice. But Jensen backing right now seems a bit strange as they're going right onto that dragon. He has no TP.
No teleport for Jensen. Of course, there's no AD carry available for Immortals, though the Ash arrow is up. He could participate at least a little bit. And yeah, that play does not work out. C9 could have gone for turret damage instead. They went for the Drake. It was a risk. The risk does not pay off. A good reaction by Immortals. They said, oh, they just recalled in the bot lane. They just showed back up, and they're not pushing the turret. This must be Drake. Everyone show up. Good reaction.
Look at Impact's build. Merc treads first.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, he's saying you're not going to kill me. He's going to have the chase down potential here too. Definitely very low on the combat stats, but just indexing heavily on being able to stay alive and stay away from this.
And it's a double AP.
Oh,
look at that play!
Play jumps in. C sees him under the turret, but Huni gonna stay alive on this
gets
one.
movement
But
speed, movement
there's
speed.
the hit with the boomerang. The hyper coming in. Lands one auto. Lands two autos. One more will kill him. Gets the boomerang. A beautiful solo kill for Impact.
Are you kidding me? This guy is putting the team on his back. I said it wouldn't be about the Gnar, but maybe I spoke too soon because Impact with a solo kill on Huni. Who needs your jungler?
He is just frustrating Huni so much. Huni plays forward. It's a Boots 2 Gnar. Transitions out of Mega Gnar at the right time to get that movement speed bonus and chases him down. Incredible. Like, Impact is playing out of his mind.
It's just ridiculous. The ult into the perfect wall lift right under the turret. Oh, that has got to be tilting.
Ooh. Okay, that's a flash down. Spell shield used on volley, and that's what becomes tricky about this lane is pre-6, usually Ashe has the push lead, just Sivir's too short range. We can watch this again.
This is so good. Impact sees that as soon as Huni walks up for it, he clears the whole minion wave out, so Huni doesn't even have to deal damage to him. But it was the Q into the R, and then even though he was stunned, gets the follow with the movement speed, and when everybody's slow again, well, Impact is just faster.
Yeah, it's tier 2 boots versus no boots, and it's Merc treads to reduce the stuns, and Huni frustrated definitely there. Last game did not end how he wanted it. This one is not off to the start he was hoping for.
And he even got a gank at the start, too.
Yeah.
And he blew his flash ultimate to get in there, so he was down his flash for that.
One thing to say, though, Immortals did pick up that Mountain Drake, so that is definitely nice for them. They're certainly holding even here.
And for this Impact, really bullying now. Proto Belt versus Merc Treads and a Jarm's Fist, just better for Impact.
Yeah, and everybody else is coming up here too. You have Jensen playing towards this side. We're talking about how they've been focusing bottom side. Cloud9 with this advantage in the top lane. You just pressure Huni out of the game.
Yeah, if you can force this guy to try to stay in a 1v1, that's not really where he's going to excel. It's about the team fighting, and if they can get Impact to the point, oh, he's going to kill him!
Wow, the flash and the everything, a lot of damage dealt out. He's gonna get the solo kill, but ooh, a nice save by Meteos, make sure that Rainover can't turn it back around, but now re-engage on the bot side, double invulnerability, and nothing to really gain, but here comes the teleport. Jensen wants in, the flash pillar, Wild Turtle does not have flash, he will die. The double bomb for Jensen rings true, Smoothie to get a bit more damage, and look at this, 3-0, Cloud9 looking great in the third game.
C9 off to the races, winning on both sides of the map, 2-0-0 for Impact, has his TP available. This guy is just going off, and Jensen with a couple good roams to the bot lane, cashing in there as well.
And Cloud9 are making sure that nothing goes well for Immortals in this game. Meteos looking at Pobelter, the TP to flank.
Not gonna get the slow, but there's the flash away from Pobelter. Double bomb only gonna stun Rainover. And Pobelter will survive, burning both of his summoners. Still both gotta say a good thing. Yeah, Impact burning his own teleport to be part of that. C9 once again up as a result of that fight.
Let's watch this again. Oh man, the flash, his came up first, but still ends up just clocking him there. And then in the bottom lane, the Cosmic Radiance comes down, but they are just so chunked out already anyway that they don't really have any business sticking around here. And the teleport comes through and Pobelter can't reach him.
Yeah, Jensen had the foresight, backed off in advance, knew the ability to make this play. And that was figured out like quite a bit in advance, right? That was not a last-second move. Jensen actually took the time back behind his tier 1, then go for the TP. Really smart play.
Beautiful game so far. Cloud9 up 1,600 gold quite early on. Rainover looking for the fight against Impact, but it's a very tanky Gnar. Survives the Slicing Maelstrom so far, hops away from Rainover's knockup. Gets some more move speed out of the Hyper, trying to run out of this one. Rainover can't quite get in range for this,
stun.
but the flash stun comes through, misses the E,
gotta get
but
the auto.
it should be enough damage, and yes, the kill comes through.
Meteos.
But Huni has aggro, he'll die for this one. Meteos will probably not pick off Rainover, but maybe he's gonna try for it, knocks
He's gonna
him
stop
back
him from his
in.
tunnel.
Get him away from the tunnel, has to flash from the body slam, and Rainover finally gets away.
Again, absorbing all the pressure, getting the trade kill, but it's fights in the bot lane.
Oh, that's
once
killer
again.
used.
And look at the roam coming in from Pobelter.
They're on a Smoothie, but Smoothie ults in to keep some stats away from Adrian. And yeah, just too big of a heal to get killed off.
This is completely spotted out here by Cloud9.
And out they go. That is 2 ultis down. That is more ultimates used by Cloud9 than Immortals did. Its health bar is whittled down on C9's side. Pobelter won't lose too much himself. But the plays that Immortals are making just aren't as good as Cloud9's.
Certainly not, but the gold lead is very close, especially when you take kills into consideration. It's 4-1, but it's not even a 2,000 gold lead. And 1.4 thousand gold ahead is not insignificant, but it's not out of control by any means.
If they're able to get first turret blood on the top side and maybe give it to Huni, then he's right back in it, but it's not happened yet. Uses the Slicing Maelstrom, hits everything, clears the minion wave out. His Proto Belt didn't really use too much on the Impact there, which you really want to actually get a huge burst of that. Force the flash, gets that last hit, and then
the minion.
Actually, he doesn't cancel his E earlier, because you can cancel and get that auto attack off, because you can't auto during the lightning run. But chases him all the way under turret, which may have been a little gratuitous.
Also smart by Meteos to realize that he was already going to die. He chases down Rainover, forces out the flash there. So they get a little bit something extra, and they give over the kill to their top laner, who's already doing great.
When Huni not even, I feel like, mechanically playing out of the turret and the minion wave properly. I don't believe E makes the turret one-shot a caster minion because it does so little damage.
Yeah, so you E through the minions.
Then wait for a shot.
On the
then
casters, exactly. So it'll actually work on all of them, I believe.
Yeah, pretty sure you're
so
fine.
even melees too, because it'll go 2 shots and then you only have to do 1 auto.
Impact now working towards that frozen mallet, and I think it's going to be tough times in the top lane, but the TP coming down.
Flash, it's going to be Smoothie who's hit. Exhaust means Smoothie doesn't do that much damage. And once again, Smoothie puts on the ulti, gets a bunch of stats, and just gets away from the fight. Summoners burned, Huni out of lane, and he goes, nice try, buddy, but I'm Trundle. I'm going to walk on out of here.
They may go for the Infernal to try to make something of this, though, as that is on the table, and Impact doesn't have his TP for a little bit longer.
Got a few seconds, yeah, about a 20-second lockout till he
Yeah,
can.
he wants
Meganar's
that
going to
first
time out. Going for, yeah, the first turret to go down, plenty of damage output there. Meteos actually chased out by Rain, over 300 health left on this Gragas. Has to ult to get away, and that is a turret, and it puts the game right back to equal. 16.5 minutes in, look at that, 26,000 apiece. Immortals finally getting themselves an advantage. Until now, when the turret goes back down.
Impact is up 1,000 gold over Huni right now.
And getting the gold on him, plus that local gold, is going to be very nice. He can push in the wave all the way, because when he hits that timing with the Frozen Mallet, it will be massive. We'll see if C9 wants to contest this at all. They are starting to move in. TP is available. Here comes Impact.
And Huni has no ultimate. They really want a team fight here. C9.
Drake goes down, the team fight looks pretty close, a nice zoning ulti, and actually Jensen has to revive himself, but it's going to time out without getting much done. That's a bad situation to be in right now for C9. I think actually the Deathfire touch, no, it didn't do anything, didn't burn him out, he's okay on this one. But I guess the disengage worked. I think Pobelter played that fight incredibly well, zoning out C9, forcing back Jensen and Sneaky, and that will be an uncontested Drake.
And it's a TP down for Impact. They get the Dragon, picking up their second of the game. Very nice stuff from Immortals, always focusing on their win conditions.
And they really want to focus on those team fights too. And Impact, this is kind of a nightmare for Immortals now because Impact is so far ahead. He's got so much HP. Ganking him isn't really an option anymore because he's just going to survive. You don't do enough damage with Huni, who's now building the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so his AP isn't going to get much higher for a good while here. And
they realize Frozen Mallet, put him in the long lane, give him the red buff. If Huni stays in lane at all, he will get chased down and killed. This is really, really rough, and he's going to look to push it in.
He's going to
go right for him. Impact's going for him in top lane.
Gonna look for Huni, the slow is there, burning him down, the true damage helping certainly, and well, the Frozen Mallet slow is too much to deal with. Huni does not have a way out of this. It's just too big. The Meganar takes him out, and Impact's anything but a gentleman. 4 kills already.
Huni's expression there said it all. Hands on his head, frustration showing here for this top laner as he's already down 2 levels, and now he's down 30 plus CS, 3 kills. Rough place to be in. And you have to think that that last game, that final call where he's splitting his ribbon, is something that he's bringing into this game as well. It's very hard to shrug those things off, and now you're 1-4 and your lane opponent is 4-1. Like, Impact has an ability to take over this game, and he's the only lane that's incredibly far ahead.
Yeah, this gold lead is only
3 levels.
Oh, I mean, he is huge. He is massive, to be fair. But the rest of the map is equal.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside of these players, when Teleport is down, the 4-on-4 is an equivalent situation. In fact, Immortals have 2 Drake buffs. They're probably stronger in the 4-on-4 in some senses, and they've got to make that work before Impact just wins the game through top. He's going to now try to win through mid, finding Pobelter. The pillar is there. The
so much
stun's going to come across, and Pobelter stays alive for a few more seconds. Gets the shield. He will still drop to the time bomb. He knew he couldn't survive the damage of it. And now the flash chase, a trade of summoners. Huni forced to run.
And Immortals, they're kind of flailing in this game now. There isn't a whole lot that they seem to be able to do at this point in time. They kind of threw away their window. Kennen needs to be able to abuse the lane opponent early, and especially if it's a tank and the tank gets ahead. Oh, it just feels awful.
It's going to have to be a big team fight from Immortals. They need to get that AoE combo, a big Kennen ulti, a flank. Something has to happen. They need to make plays. C9 knows it. They're trying to control vision, and they're trying to play very safe. Ooh, as I say, safe. A little risky recall there.
Makes it out. Sadly for Impact, I think they'll lose his home guard buff because he did take damage. The bolt will follow him for the recall, so he's slower getting out to his lane. Smoothie, wow, maybe shouldn't have been there. He already knew Huni was coming up that lane and wanted to defend the 1v3, but now it's 4. That will be a turret. Immortals catching up on the map movement will tie the turret score once again. Bring this game a little bit closer, but it's a 1,500 gold deficit for the blue side. Pretty bad find that comeback.
Huni there, honestly. He saw them all and just kind of walked into them. Has to give up his flash, but not the end of the world. Immortals looking to continue pushing forward here.
Pushing Meteos out, gets a quick stun. Nice job, Huni.
Force him off the turret so that he can actually go here. And,
Oh, whoa. Knocked back. Roto belts out. Raid over maybe a bit aggressive, and actually Adrian pops the ulti. Got to keep them alive, but that's going to be an easy re-engage now that Terra Cult is gone. They find the stun of the Raid over. He's forced to flash out.
Impact about to mega out. He's going for Turtle and Pobelter.
they sped him up.
Whoa, he's going to keep running in. Meganar is available now if he presses one of his buttons. Will not quite find the kill, but that is a hard retreat. Immortals losing Flash and Ghost.
Yeah.
On the retreat.
The ghosts there, definitely necessary from Pobelter. As soon as the Rylai's Crystal Scepters, though, come in for both of the solo lanes for Immortals, it gets a little bit easier for them to get out of situations like that. It's still a Zillion, and it's still a Gnar with the Frozen Mallet, but they do get a little bit of respite from it.
It's interesting to see Impact starting to itemize towards those armor. He's building towards respecting the Ashe, respecting the Rek'Sai a little bit. I would have expected him to finish the Spirit Visage in a game against both Victor and Kennen. There's still going to be a lot of magic damage threat coming across.
I think you get the Randuin's Omen so that you have the speed, and you also reduce a lot of Ashe's damage to you, because he'd be really the only one that would kill you at this moment, and you're going to get sped up. So if you can slow everybody else down, then you help your team out a bunch.
Very true. So we'll see if that's going to pay off. A lot of C9 members moving down towards the bot side here.
And they just leave Impact on the top side. He's 3 levels up. He's got his own thing to do. Huni doesn't really get to play League of Legends.
Yeah, but it remains as the gold lead is summed up by Impact versus Huni. Thankfully for C9, that teleport is available, so he can lend that advantage to the rest of his team in the near future if they need him for the fight. Otherwise, Immortals playing wave clear, but now Impact a little bit alone. He's got Hop, and out he goes.
The pressure that he's drawing allows them to be confident to move into Immortals jungle, get vision around the dragon. You can see they're pinging it out. They don't want to continue giving these up. As you spoke to earlier, Freak, Immortals already has the first 2 dragons. They're big ticket ones. They don't want to give over another Inferno.
And it spawns in 15 seconds. Immortals have their ultimates all available, but C9 do as well. The only question is, can Mega Gnar be built in time? And Impact doesn't have a lot to fight right now, so maybe an opening here. Huni just finishes his recall, but doesn't quite have Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so no combine available. Impact starts out on this Infernal Drake.
I think you start wailing on it, you'll have it up by the time that Immortals wants to engage on you.
TP coming in, they want to fight. Immortals knows they need a team fight here.
2,000 health. Here comes the play. A nice double bomb stops up Huni. Half health on the Kennen. 1,300 down goes the smite. Nicely
They're
done.
gonna engage.
Going to be the Infernal Drake picked up. Stun not going to land for much on anything. It's just the runaway. Difficulty trying to find the re-engage. They won't get it. Immortals burn teleport. They tried to posture. They got nothing. And Cloud9 pick up their first Infernal Drake of this game, tying that score. Maybe they can tie Mountain Drake in 6 minutes too.
Shu is on the other foot as last time it was Impact pulling his TP and not being able to fight there. But C9 is getting stronger and stronger. Rainover caught out a bit.
Body slam flash, explosive cast finds Rainover. Double bomb gets him as well. Rainover running for dear life. Ulti pop by Tarek, and they'll keep the team alive for now. And now it's time for the teleport. Impact, will he join? Yes, he finishes the TP, but he is minion our Meteos low. Burning a little bit with that fire touch, but they're okay. Quick heal from Adrian, has to flash out from the pillar. Impact still in the chase, will not be stopped. Nice Dazzle Stun comes through, but the flash is the chase, and another kill. Impact has 5 in this game.
And Sneaky simply revived after Pobelter blew his whole combo on him and comes right back up at full HP. They're looking for the tier 2, perhaps going to keep pushing as Immortals is slow to pace.
Slow to base indeed. Another turret goes down, making that scoreline 3-2, 7 kills to 1 as well. Of course, bot lane could also be a target. The minion wave set up for it, but C9 says, we'd rather heal up. Let's be safe, clear the minions, clear the wards, get out.
Yeah, sooner you back, the sooner you have more things you can do on the map and react to them. Because if you go for that bottom turret, they might be able to actually go for that Baron. So let's look at this one more time here. Because Meteos, body slam flash, throws the cast, double bomb from Jensen. And then Jensen in this fight is just so annoying. Throws the ultimate down onto Sneaky, immediately makes it so that that Victor ultimate was not really worth anything there, and then they almost take down Meteos, but it's still not enough.
And it's Impact on the chase. He comes in, Frozen Mallet, so strong. No fear from this guy.
Even exhaust.
Going forward, yeah, the exhaust even drawn out, flashes forward, confident in getting that kill, and it helps us secure them to tier 2 and extend their gold advantage. And quietly, Sneaky is getting stronger and stronger. He's completed his second item, he has very high farm, and it's Sivir that's going to be a massive threat here in the late game. So Immortals right now, they're so busy worrying about Impact that Sneaky has had a lot of time just kind of comfortably farm.
Well, looks good so far. C9. This is one of the most, well, this is probably the cleanest game of this series, actually. C9 just winning strongly.
And it's funny, too, because we're saying that it's only 3,000 gold difference, but this is a gold difference that is just heavily focused on one member. It's a member that's going to build tanky, so it's so hard to remove him from the map. And Impact 3 levels up, close to his rank 3 ultimate already. And that's the thing is, if you look at the pace of the game, like Jensen's 15 as well, Pobelter's 14, it's Huni who's just behind the entire pace of the game. He's the same level as his AD carry. The Kennen's not going to do too much in these team fights until he catches up a bit.
Yeah, Immortals are grouped. They're looking to make something happen, but Impact is already roaming up. He did not have TP, and he is respecting the fact that he needs to be there. Flash forward for the pillar.
Pillar makes Huni flash away to stay alive. Of course, that Trader Summoner is generally fine because now it's one less tool in Huni's toolbox for making a team fight work. You can't get in the backline nearly as easily.
And it also means Huni has no flash for the 1v1 against Impact. If
Yeah.
he tries to go and answer this split push, it's exceptionally dangerous.
And that's where C9 puts him into one of the easier to attack objectives. That bottom turret is available.
I also think the fact that he built some armor too. Easier to dive the turret, easier to have another slow.
Yep. Impact has the luxury of not even building as his lane opponent anymore. Okay, yes, Randoms gives you some health, but
He's just hanging around too.
spends 1,200 gold on armor and is still going to win his lane matchup.
Yeah, and look how hesitant Huni was there. Even with 3 members of his team around his red buff, he's standing back, he's letting the turret go down. He knows he has no business coming up into lane against Impact, and C9 pushing on the top side here too.
They're getting advantages both sides of the map, whether they have the lead there or not. Top lane 2-2 nearly dead. We're looking at the chance of a flank play from the rest of the team as the teleports are down. I think Immortals does need to play this aggressive style and find those engages when that teleport is down, and they're going to look for it here. Ooh, doesn't even have to spell shield to get out.
But I also think that the Zillion is a big stopper for Immortals as well. If you try to blow somebody up, well, he's just going to come right back. And this is just such an annoying pick. And look at this. Bottom side of the map, they're pulling Belter down here. Both solo laners getting tugged back and forth here. And this is Cloud9 looking at a Baron.
Yeah, and it was the ward that tipped him off. Impact's able to back off. He's now 16, hit that rank 3 ultimate. Gonna be so threatening in these team fights. Building damage or not, Spearfist is now complete. Would not be surprised to see this guy building towards a GA, and that on top of the Zillion ulti, he could play so aggressive already. How do you take him down?
It's going to be difficult, absolutely. Just life is hard if you're trying to kill off Impact. It's probably not going to happen anymore this game unless he fountain dives. And it's funny because he's building his own advantages. Meteos has no assists this entire game. It's not been Meteos ganking in a sense. I mean, he has been there, he has helped a little bit, but it really is Impact making the outplays happen. The rest of the team holding up.
Exactly. Impact has participated in 6 of the 7 kills, and the next highest on his team is 3. Impact has gotten many solo kills in this game, and he was the one who got ganked early. He was the one who got ganked and had ultimates and flashes blown on him, and he made it out.
You've got to feel at some point in this game, it starts to really weigh on you as Immortals. Last season, 17-1. Huge favorites, should win all of NA, knocked out in the semifinals. This season, 16-2. Huge favorites against Cloud9. You're in the semifinals, you already lost game 2. You're looking like you're up against it in game 3. That pressure can start to really mount and can start to weigh on these players.
The history and trying to go against it, I mean, you just don't want to create more memes. Just saying.
It is a slightly better version of Team Liquid. 3rd place every time. Let's go.
Oh no. Don't kick them while they're down, freak. They're not even 4th.
Even better version. I don't know. I'm not really trying to smack talk teams. These are excellent players, but the fact is, C9 have really continued to stay a strong team. The 3rd team heading into the playoffs. Sure, not an immaculate season, but good enough to make 3rd place, and now winning in their series against Immortals, tied in games, winning in game 3, looking to make it a 2-1 lead in this best of 5, looking ahead into their first final in over a year at this point. And we'll see if they can make that happen now, as Impact is the man with the lead. 60 minions up, 4 kills the advantage. Look for this turret now, the Fountain Break helping make that happen. Here comes the engagement for the mid lane. A flash to dodge everything away, but Belter going to run out of health rapidly. He gets picked off. The flash means nothing. Zillion ult burned to make sure it's all safe, and a double bomb means, hey, you should cancel that teleport, Huni, and he's not part of this fight. Another pick off and damage the bot lane.
Exactly. Wild Turtle's on the top side of the map, and they're able to actually get on to Belter, and they're still going.
The flash is there. The explosive cascade. Adrian's going to drop for this one. Does not get to ult in time. That's going to be an inhibitor turret taken down almost for sure. The defense is not here right now.
Yeah, and the bot lane tier 2 going down as well. C9 picking up so much gold. Victories across the map as they look to crack the base.
And they're going to try.
4v5. Here comes the engage. Media's low on health. There's no Zillion ult to keep him alive, but look at the backline access. Impact basically solo kills the AD carry. Rainover's next up, and
This
now
could be
Huni.
the game.
Poor Huni running away. Hit up by a boomerang. Slowed down by the frozen mallet. His ult means almost nothing. Zillion is going to save Impact. That comes back in time. The level 17. And he's going to walk away.
Decides to back off. Don't want to
They ping Baron.
risky.
They ping Baron. This might be the play. Huni doesn't have anywhere to go. He's hiding alongside his minions, hoping to blend in with the rest of them, but problem is he's wearing red, not blue. They can see him against the grasses.
He's kind of as strong as a minion right now, too.
It is warded
Almost
out.
has his flash,
He could look for something. It's desperation
but he
time.
doesn't have Zhonya's. He's going to have to ulti in there.
He would have
He doesn't
to.
have, he doesn't have ulti. He doesn't have it.
A
He's gonna
rare
go for it.
form. He's not going to get it. There's the smite. There's the pick off another kill in for C9. I think it was the right choice for Hooney to try to make that happen, but it didn't come through. Great smiting by Meteos once again, and this gold lead is now 9,000 plus a Baron buff for C9.
And look at this play once again, the commitment onto Pobelter, and really early Zillion ulti goes down, so it doesn't actually get popped, but it doesn't matter. They get the kill, both TPs have to be canceled, and then they continue to look for the chase, and Meteos with the flash available, goes for it, knocks Adrian in, he goes down as well, and C9 piling in, cracked the first inhibitor turret of the game.
Yeah, and then Impact comes around the side. It's like, okay, finally, you back Wild Turtle, you're here, and Impact just comes straight through the base. And Wild Turtle, they're trying to focus on the re-engage, but Hooney doesn't have ultimate usable right there because he doesn't have flash. He wants to ulti flash and get into that group of people, but he can't.
And now top end's going to be dropping as well. So look at this turret score, 7-2 now on this one. Great plays so far from C9, controlling this game from start to finish.
And Sneaky has his IE, has 3 core items, death cap on Jensen, they are massive.
Here comes the engage, Terrac ulti across, and there's the disengage. No damage is really dealt to Cloud9 here as the inhibitor turret falls. A lot of punishment towards Impact, but he's got Guardian Angel. He's all right. Sending to Jensen, but there's no follow-up damage, so nothing happens for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Turret goes down, and C9 now low enough on health. They want to get out, and they will disengage cleanly enough. C9 to retreat here with all their members intact.
C9 should just back off, go heal up, and look to re-engage. There's no reason to risk it right now. They didn't have to blow their summoners, and was a good disengage on Kennen. They committed a lot, but they get the inhibitor turret and do not lose anyone.
Impact is 5,000 gold ahead of Hooney. It's absolutely insane. Impact is playing out of his mind today. Absorbing ganks, created his own advantage, and then just pressed it. This guy is just such a huge facilitator for his team, and he doesn't even take that many resources. Like, he is honestly the optimal top laner to have on Cloud9.
Lowest CS on his team, still 65 his lane opponent. Got maybe 1 or 2 ganks, 6-1.
And that's the big thing is, like, Impact in terms of actual velocity of his levels in his game, he is on par with mid laners, right? That's totally normal. Hooney is 3 levels down. Like I said before, same level as the AD carry, doesn't have rank 3 ultimate, whereas both solo laners, even the jungler of Cloud9 have theirs.
And it's Cloud9 closing in on the bot lane, looking to crack the 3rd inhibitor turret. Immortals will need a miracle team fight.
It's going to be a rough situation. Baron buff is still on for the rest of this siege here. Gravity Well means nothing. Pulls an impact, doesn't matter. Smoothie on the front line, ults rain over for stats, and he's too durable for this to matter. Bottom inhibitor gone now. Top inhib has no turret, so C9 can rotate there easily enough. They once again clear out the mid lane wave. They let Sneaky heal up on it with Warlord's Bloodlust. And will they use the minion wave, or will they simply backdoor the inhibitor itself? Right now, they've got to be respectful of the CC, but so does Immortals. Rain over caught in the front line. Gravity Well buys a bit of time, though.
TP from Hooney.
Doesn't get to do much. Hooney is there, gets immediately exhausted, and Smoothie does go down. That's one picked off. Now Terrac's going to help make sure the re-engage is safe as they look for impact. Guardian Angel should be dropped on this one, and Immortals have a little bit of breathing room.
And Hooney still has his ultimate. Jensen actually misclicked his ult on himself there at full HP. Pretty big mistake, and Hooney wants to chase. They know they need more. They are way behind in this game.
They need to get as much as they possibly can to bring this game back within arm's reach. It's still a 10,000 gold deficit. Hawkshot reveals where C9 is, and looks like they just have to play the wave clear game. There's almost nothing really big to be gained by Immortals. They got a couple kills, and they get a few minion waves.
And you could see how scared Hooney was to use Lightning Rush and continue to run after them, but also Elder Dragon on the table right now, but you have to defend these minion waves.
It's a tight timing. Impact is dead for 30 seconds right now. They can finish Elder Dragon before he can teleport.
Here's the fight once again. Pretty messy from C9, honestly, and Pobelter a really good flash to get out there. And you can see Sneaky taking so much damage. There's the miss ulti.
He was aiming for Sneaky, I
Yeah,
think.
he was. He clicked on himself by accident there. But Impact getting chased down. He's so tanky. The GA does get popped, but you know, they're still at least able to get out with most of their core members. And now Huni, pretty far forward.
Oh
down.
boy, Shield gets a heal pop, Zonas with ulti on, only can hit the front line, though C9 barely even take damage. The flash re-engage, look for Huni, and they're gonna find a bit, but they can't quite kill him off, so the front line taking some damage, but Impact does get the chase kill. That's one so far, and now poor Adrian on the wrong side of the Drake pit. Got to be careful on this one. The question, though, is what does C9 do with their lead, because they have the 5v4, and they have the chance to make the play.
They want to go right to Elder, pick this up, and use that 2-minute time window to finish the game, as there's no inhibitor turrets, and that would give them such a boost of power when they're already almost 10,000 gold up. It's going to be so hard for Immortals to hang on.
And nobody's going to contest this on the side of Immortals. They're going to give over the Elder Dragon here. And now with the 2 dragon strong Elder Dragon for Cloud9, the open inhibitors, like, they're just pretty much going to try to go by the book here and close this game out with this huge advantage that they have.
This is their timing window. This is their most powerful that they will be in this game. With the Elder Dragon buff, with all these completed items, they know that they have a chance to end here and force it to what could be a final game.
Here we go. Damage now. Focus towards this inhibitor itself. Mountain and Inferno Drake, plenty of stats here, and a lot of burn damage going to come through for C9. There's the inhibitor. Bot lane still dead, top lane still up. Double bomb and a rain over, a lot of damage on the Rex side, gets a shield, gets away. So far, no death yet for Immortals, but they are running out of health, getting burned out by C9. Now to the top lane they go. Elder Dragon only lasts 2 minutes, and it's already about 50 seconds through it so far. They will line up with Baron respawning, but only just barely.
C9 is actually having Jensen back. He's probably going to TP back in. He was low on mana, and I think this is a pretty smart call. I'm assuming he's waiting base. There's the TP now. Going to be able to join back up. They will continue to push with the buff.
And Immortals, this game right now, if Cloud9 put themselves on match point, the Ghosts of Spring Split will come back.
They look for the play. Ulti comes in for Tarek, and they got the pick up on a Smoothie. Once again, not revived by Jensen, who does not press hard onto him. Meteos low on health, even lower on mana. Guardian Angel will be popped. Wild Turtle safe in the back line with that Ash damage. Double Bomb does not quite pick up the kill. Sneaky does get revived. There's Meteos, cannot get the kill in the back line.
Wait.
2 so far. Is it going to be 3? Impact is low, but he doesn't quite get picked off. Huni can't quite deal the damage. The bomb will kill off Adrian. Jensen gets 1 back, but it is still advantage Immortals if they can heal in time. Elder Dragon buff going to end in just a few more seconds.
A Rainover coming out for the flag.
Look
Did
for
C9
it.
overstay?
Can he get it? He wants to get Sneaky, does not find the knockup, but it's going to be the damage as Pobolter picks it up. And keep in mind, Baron is on the field. A slow on the Impact. Huni does not quite land the Q, does take a bomb for his troubles.
Oh, their base is taking so much damage.
Versus 4. The inhibitor, Nexus turrets will stay alive even though they are low. And Baron is up, and again, it is 4 versus 2. The only one they're missing is their support.
They're going to go for it. They know they need to make a play here. They need to try something.
Impact, slowed by volley.
Zillion ulti is available. He's hiding. He's trying to bait them in to go for this kill.
But I think they know that Jensen's around. That is a picked up Rift Scuttle, so the vision is there, but a ward over the wall from Smoothie, and Huni just has to play the wave clear game, keeping his Nexus turrets alive.
It's too late. They have to back off. They know the timing window was missed, and they're going to have to defend the base, which means C9 can be the ones to go for this Baron.
And there is going to be a flood of gold and experience in towards Immortals right now. Triple inhibitors dead means there's no minion kills that C9 could even possibly get. It's a flood of hundreds of gold per minute into the Nexus. And yes, this will be an almost definite Baron take when C9 tries to make the play when they get the map control back. But in the meantime, it's Immortals catching up. Huni is now 16, right? Those levels aren't quite as bad anymore. He's got the rank 3 ultimate. His gold catching back up as well. 240 CS. That deficit now only 26.
Rainover's a little far up, but should be able to walk out. And Sneaky now back on the map, and this is what they were waiting for. They're going to start up the Baron immediately.
Baron worth 1,500 gold roughly to the team as they're going to knock that one down pretty rapidly.
This could decide the game. Does Immortals decide to fight?
They can. There's no way you can. You lose the game outright. You need someone to defend your Nexus. They give away the Baron smartly. They can test just by looking at it and giving him a quick glare.
Intelligent play.
And this is a game that Impact has just been going crazy in, but it's still the longest game that we've had yet. They've just been slowly increasing their lead here in Cloud9 with the Baron buff, looking to get that last inhibitor and try to push and close this game out and make Immortals think that the history may repeat itself.
Immortals all picking up their potions. They're trying to get the maximum possible damage here. Rage Pot on Turtle. You see the Sorcerer's Elixir on Pobelter. They're going for the engage!
Knock up on Sneaky. They're trying to pick him off. A lot of damage, but the
Jensen got
Zillion
him.
comes through in time. But Tarek going to keep the team afloat, so there's no damage to be dealt back.
Here goes Huni!
Huni in the back line does not get exhausted, but can't find himself any kills, and he's going to get traded back. Sneaky gets the credit for that one. Impact, though, getting burned down. Stuns Wild Turtle. The autos come through. Guardian Angel popping this one. Sneaky finally does get burned down, and Turtle is safe. He's got to respect Gnar. Fights the 1v1, gets healed up, gets the kill. That is 2 picked up for Immortals, but they're losing Nexus turrets. They've got to keep the second one alive, and they will do so. +1 kill, a -1 turret, but plus a few minutes gained of breathing room.
Against all odds, Immortals hangs on once more, and Sneaky has just been so ineffective in these last couple of fights. He's getting popped immediately, brought back up by Jensen, but he can't get anything done.
And you have to start biting your nails here if you're Cloud9, because the longer this game goes, the more that delta gets closed here. The flash knock up on a Sneaky. Jensen barely gets in range to pull the ultimate off, but they burst straight through his Maw of Malmortis. Huni comes in from the side and gets through the shield to face the mountain, but still, it's not enough damage. Huni does not do enough at this point in time, but Pobelter, on the other hand, throws down that gravity field, gets lasers across them, and ends up really saving this fight.
And Rainover was massive as well. He lands multiple knockups on Sneaky. He gets the knockup which takes the first kill on Sneaky. He gets a follow-up knockup without Flash that gets the second kill. And this man does not want to go quietly into the night. They are looking to hang on here.
Here's
Game
one
number 3.
He doesn't even want to go into the night. He wants to like run towards the light here.
Hoping to keep it going then, as Immortals looking for an immense comeback here. The gold getting slightly closer. Now it's only 7,000. I say only because it's been worse than that so far in this game. Catching up in levels.
As you start to complete your item builds, the gold lead stops mattering.
Yep, the delta gets smaller and smaller.
The total champion level deficit is only 1. There are 4 total levels from all 18 C9, -3 on Smooth. Even Adrian actually over-leveling the Trundle. Rank 3 ulti, kind of a big deal on Tarek. Gets that up more often.
Yeah, exactly. And Huni is back in this right now, but he needs his Void Staff. That's the big thing he needs here. Your 6th item on Kennen isn't that big, but the Void Staff is what really matters here.
One thing big for C9 is Sneaky has his flash. Look at the flashes across the board. All going to be available for C9 here, and a couple key ones will be missing for Immortals. Rainover without that playmaking flash on Burrow, and Pobelter without either summoner must stay alive and contribute massively to the fights if Immortals wants to hold on for a 3rd straight time.
I feel like Immortals want to actually stall out until the Ghost is up, and they have Void Staff for Huni. Those would be the 2 breakpoints that you would really want on your side here.
See what they can do. It's a lot near the mid lane. Baron buff still on. A few fractions of a second longer.
Impact's walking it out, so they have to play this pretty slowly, actually. They want to wait for Impact to get here. This is risky because side lane's top lane is pushing in for C9, but bot lane is actually pushing for Immortals.
Here we go.
All those inhibs up, they just get so much time to breathe now on Immortal's side. And now Impact.
Swap
Swap
portal.
portal.
Full build. Lots of resists. Trying to
is
slip
smart.
down to the bot lane. Yeah.
Draw the extra pressure to a side lane. They've been struggling to close this out. You want to get that number advantage, and ZZ Rocks can sometimes help you do that.
Break apart the team fight comp if you can. Pobelter 780 ability power, and going towards his Ludens is going to be scary. Sneaky, the solo pusher. He knows he can get buffed up to get away. He can spell shield the engage, takes a bit of damage, but crucially blocks a roughly 800 damage laser to not get picked off here.
Needs to be so careful, though. A lot of the onus is on Sneaky now, as we knew it would be. He is most of their team fight damage. If he does not have a good fight, C9 will have trouble winning.
And flash on Rainover in about 20 seconds here. But that
Our
bottom
bot
inhib
side.
is taking a lot of damage, and that mid inhib is very close to going down.
Arena
Could
wants
look
to threaten.
engage.
No flash just yet. A nice little slowdown. That's going to be the inhibitor going down once again. Picking that one off in the bot lane. Not quite picked off yet, though. Impact.
Immortals is
down.
going to have to
Gets
engage
it.
here pretty soon. They need to start to go, as the 3rd inhibitor is going to be going down. When do they pick their moment? Here it is. The TP coming in for
Looking for the
Huni.
play.
He's got a
Asher.
great TP.
Gonna get dodged, flash to the back line, exhausted, finds some damage, and Sneaky dangerously close to dead. The revive token is on, but he's not gonna go down. The heal won't come through. Huni's dead though. It's a 5v4, and C9 want back in. A late Terrical, it will save Rainover for now. Impact dangerously low. Wild Turtle can't get the damage, and it's gonna be a pickoff as Rainover is now dead. It's a 3 versus 5 advantage. Cloud9 triple inhib down again, but they're running out of HP. Meteor stunned up. Damage on a Sneaky down below 1,000. Pobelter Ghost down already, can't find the re-engage.
Both solo laners have their TP though. Impact just based. He's gonna TP back. Jensen basing now. He's gonna TP back as well. They're gonna look to push for the win.
Yeah, and that turret, it actually regened a lot, so it's close to full HP, but still, they have so much brute force.
A lot of full health members. It's only Meteors who's really missing resources. 5 versus 3. Here comes the push to open up the series 2-1. They caught Wild Turtle. It's all over, but the crying. It's going to be Adrian running away. The turrets are gone. The Nexus is going to be next. That's going to be game 3 for Cloud9. They are 1 game away from the finals.
What an incredible performance from C9. They come into this the underdogs, and 2 games in a row, they have taken the Nexus from Immortals, and Immortals have got to be worried at this point.
They are systematically pulling them apart. They are targeting the weaknesses, and they are exploiting them. Matchups, anything that they can find here. And C9 are on point today, and Immortals, maybe you can be the best team or the second best team in the league 24/6, but that one day and that one opponent that might be able to take you down, Cloud9's been improving the entire split, and it looks like today they're on match point, and it could be where they take down Immortals.
It's that any given Sunday mentality. You get into playoffs, the regular season does not matter anymore. You simply have to win 3 out of 5 of these games. The past is in the past, and C9 is coming into this with a fresh mentality on that. They're not worried, hey, yeah, we lost you in the regular season, but they talked about it. We have improved. We know the ways to win. And they say if Immortals starts to break, they tend to fall apart.
Yeah, branching out the strategies, finding the ways to play around it. They even got to play the Narcannon matchup already. It's great, we're practiced. We know how this one works. We're ready to go. Thanks, Sarah, for the warm-up in this one. The late pick Zillion coming out to help break apart the comp as well. The assassinations from Pobelter just didn't really happen anymore. And look, a very well-played game, a controlled game, a C9-style game where they did it right, and they took it out. So, 2-1 lead. Oh man, game 4 is on the way. Let's send it back to the analyst desk to review this so far.
Thank you very much, gents. 2-1 is exactly right. Cloud9, rather, now out to a lead here in this series. But boy, is this series heating up, if anything, right? Just game over game getting more exciting. This one, very, very much coming down to the wire there. There was a little bit of fear after Immortals had a couple successful base defenses that Cloud9 might not be able to find a way to end this one, but they do.
It sure is sizzling, especially Impact's Gnar. I loved watching his play. He's
so
soaking
good.
up so much pressure, solo kills left, right, and center, tilting Huni, just doing so much work for the team. Unfortunately, I did think Cloud9 was relying a little bit too much on what he was doing on the map, and the rest of the 4-man unit was kind of losing the slack in terms of pressure, as we saw even in the gold advantage. Immortals was able to get the first turret, was putting pressure on the map before C9, so maybe work on the little 4-man as opposed to...
Yeah, I mean, when we do look at this champion select, we see once again a unique pick coming out of Huni in the Kennen here for the series at least, right? But the response in the Gnar play just fantastic. I mean, absorbing that pressure from Reignover, we saw multiple 2v1 outplays, we saw the 1v1 outplays. I mean, quickly picking up 5 kills for himself and having the highest kill participation on the team as a top laner in the early game is pretty nuts.
Right, and I think one thing I want to give a little credit to is Meteos. His pathing took him topside, and this is going to be the first solo kill on your screen. And this was actually just kind of a mistake for Huni to get so close and get ulted into range like that, and a great chase down by Impact. And that's going to kind of set him up to start taking over the game as he's going to keep being able to generate a ton of pressure.
But it was also a really interesting itemization choice, right? He goes immediately for those early Merc treads, getting that tenacity, move speed, and magic resist against the Kennen. So a fantastic pickup for him that allows him to kite things out like this with that, that improved movement speed. Just great heads-up play all around, even with the death here, making sure that a kill is still going to get traded.
To be fair, that one was a mess up from Reignover, using that E onto the minion as opposed to Impact, but regardless, just being able to be there, because Meteos would be there to catch the wave anyway, so just being such an all-around presence for his team, just really wonderful to see him play the Gnar as we saw in the previous series.
And I want to get back to the point I was saying. Meteos actually, we were talking, me and Crumbs, about this, actually probably had a really large impact on that lane, despite the fact he didn't visit it early. His decision to go for the blue buff put a ton of pressure on the top side, where Kennen can't pressure as aggressively because he knows Gragas is up there stealing the blue. That Rek'Sai
in those initial 3 levels where Kennen generally just walks up and autos you constantly.
So I'd like to elaborate on the actual route that you mentioned. He did doubles to red buff to blue buff to invade the blue buff, and then Reignover did Gromp, Wolves, Race into a blue buff invade himself. So what that does is that it splits the map, so you have both teams have one side that is winning very hard because the opposing side knows that the jungler is there, so they cannot play aggressive, and the other side is going to lose because they're on the receiving end. So, for example, the dual lane from Cloud9 in this game can't play aggro. You know Rex is on your side of the map. You're kind of going to lose that lane. Whereas the top lane for Cloud9, which is a matchup of Gnar and Kennen, gets completely nullified. The early game from Kennen goes right out the window because you can't play up. Gragas is going to be there, and as soon as that happened, we see Impact getting a good CS lead.
Right, and it kind of hurt Meteos. He was down. It kind of that initial path really works well for Reignover when he's able to go his blue side, your blue side, his red side again.
He gets 3 quadrants.
Right.
Meteos went from his own red side to the opposing blue side, so he kind of got stuck in 2.
Right, but it's a trade-off if you know what you're doing. And
Right.
I think this is an example of them really knowing what they want. It just protects Impact so much. It stops Pobelter from getting the blue buff later at like level 5, which would help him out because that is a Zillion favorite matchup. So there were just a couple of things that like hurt only Meteos, but sets up the rest of the team, and it's not very noticeable because it's not like, oh, he visited their lane and blew his flash and traded flashes. It's much more subtle than that.
One of the mini-map plays.
Right.
Yeah, very much so. But once again, we see Cloud9, they did get a small lead, but maybe not as large of one as people would have assumed having, if you focus in on that top lane and see the kind of work that Impact is doing, you'd be like, oh my goodness, Cloud9, they must have like an 8K gold advantage here at 25 minutes. Not at all the case. So Immortals is still finding ways to pick up the gold on the map. We even saw them get first turret even through all this pressure and the winning top side that C9 had.
Well, the biggest one was that as soon as Huni recognized he's losing lane, okay, abandon ship, what else can I do on the map? Immediately goes bottom, finds a way to 3-man push that into the first turret. Then they swap out, go to the top side, take that turret as well, and they have a turret advantage onto the map, whereas a lot of the plays that Cloud9 was doing were focused onto the actual jungle. So the difficulty with going plays in the jungle, if they're not focused on objectives or maybe dragons or buffs, don't result into a whole lot besides kills. So we saw them get some good kills, but just not actual objectives, whereas Immortals did.
Right, and I think that's a good point. It's just the objectives being taken haven't been super controlled by one team or the other. Immortals didn't get the Rift Herald when you're thinking that'd be perfect for the Riven in Game 2.
Right.
In Game 3, we're not seeing it either on anyone. It just seems like with the new meta where there's less lane swaps, that's generally where you would see a Rift Herald taken was during some kind of timing where the other teams split the map bottom.
Right.
There's just generally a little less map splitting, so it's harder to get that buff, but I think that leads to maybe some slower games where like once your top laner starts going off, it can't go off as hard as it used to.
Very much so. All right, well, let's take a look at our only other replay. 30 minutes into the game here, Cloud9 is going to pick up a 4-for-0 in the mid lane, Inhib and a Baron after all.
And this is just the example of a Sivir composition. As soon as you see somebody out of position, Trundle Pillar, you're dead. And then they're just going to push straight down middle. And again, more people are going to get picked off. And you see that Impact is pushing down on the side. A nice little flash from Meteos. He's going to immediately pop Adrian back. He tries to flash to survive. But then now you're going to have Impact come in and surprise the asset. It's just Recon trying to defend the base and just get another kill. So just pick after pick from Immortals and refusing to just walk away with the loss. They just keep throwing themselves into Cloud9, and I believe they pick up a Baron even after that.
Yeah, they're good. They get the Inhib and a Baron on the back end of all this. Very much an extended fight, but we see kind of the presence of Impact here, his ability to both win the bot lane matchup and then swoop back in behind the team with that Frozen Mallet. Ashe is completely left out to dry now. No Taric there to support him. Poor Wild Turtle in this game did not have the best of times when he got singled out by Impact.
Not at all, but I would say it was a little alarming how difficult it was for C9 to end that game, and I think part of that comes down to Impact's build. He was going off really hard, but everything he built after that first Frozen Mallet was a defensive item, and when you're that far ahead, you can afford to go a second offensive item, especially with a Zillion.
Very much so. So 2-1 is the standing of the series right now. Cloud9 has opted onto the blue side here for Game 4. Immortals backs against the wall. They lost semifinals in spring, being the #1 seed. They're the 2nd seed in here, and they want this final so bad. The players have been super vocal about it. How do they do this coming from the red side here, extend us and push us to a Game 5?
Seems like a little bit of PTSD coming
Yeah,
from
It kind of is, and we got to wonder how they're going to deal with that as a team.
Well, that's the weird thing is normally like as a team starts losing, it's like we got to change things up and try something new. But the thing is, like they've been doing new stuff.
It's a new thing every game.
Yeah, it's like you see Rumble that gets banned. It was successful. The Riven not so much. Let's try the Kennen now.
Right.
And it's getting to this point where it's like, well, your red side you have counter picks, but you've already been doing
I
that.
think what they have to do is go for the actual guy that's been so solid for them all split long.
Yeah.
It's Pobelter. He's been doing so well with the resources that he gets, and maybe it's difficult for Immortals to try to find a way to play around him more, but if you just give this man resources, he's carrying games. In this position, he's pretty much the reason why they stalled out so damn long.
And what a world for us to live in, that Immortals, right, in the
Right.
spring split, we're saying it's all going to come down to this guy on your screen here, Pobelter. He was the one who was the source of, he was the criticized one on this team through all the spring split, saying Pobelter is the underperformer if you have to choose one on the team, not saying that he was underperforming. But now here we are, our last chance to get to the finals in the summer split here. It's all going to come down to that mid lane, Pobelter versus Jensen. We've got it as our featured matchup. Stay tuned to see if they can finish off Immortals in Game 4. Cloud9 that is. We'll be right back.
Match point on the line here for this one. Immortals the favorite, but Cloud9 has certainly looked very good so far today. Jensen wants in the flash pillar. Wild Turtle does not have flash. He will die. The double bomb for Jensen rings true.
I'm fine.
No, you can back in. I
We're killing him.
This is risky. Rainover coming up for the flank. Did C9
Can he
overstay?
get it? He wants to get sneaky. Does not find the knockup, but it's gonna be the damage.
Sever, they don't have Dylan ulti.
We can win.
Chaser. Hey, I'm impact. I'm resetting impact. Carry me.
Fine. Ash is dead.
Nice.
There you go.
Good shit.
That's gonna be game 3 for Cloud9. They are 1 game away from the finals.